Picasso from 1941.
In 2006, this 1941 Picasso painting, entitled Dora Maar with Cat, sold for $95.2 million at Sotheby's auction house in New York.
Thank you.
The second highest amount ever paid for a painting at auction. The sales price nearly doubling the amount the painting was expected to sell for. That painting's selling price ranked second only to another work by Picasso, Boy with Pipe, from 1905, which sold at Sotheby's for more than $104 million back in May of 2004. It's commonly thought that anyone who owned a Picasso could name their price at auction and have expectations far exceeded. So why has the master's late work, a collection comprising dozens of paintings, drawings, and engravings, been virtually hidden away for almost 40 years? A controversial new exhibit at New York's Gagosian gallery documents the tumultuous final years of Picasso's life and suggests his final works, initially dismissed, may be among his most important.
Somehow people resisted them. They thought they were crazy, that he went over the top at the end of his life, and somehow the whole late period got dismissed.
Picasso died in France in 1973 at age 91, but he did not go without a fight, as his work attests. Where most great artists produce significant late works, they tend to be reflective, calm, and meditative. Monet, Goya, Cézanne, even Andy Warhol. Picasso's last works were anything but.
I happen to know Picasso towards the end of his life, and I knew how much these paintings meant to him. What he spent his last years doing was just working his ass off, producing paintings and drawings and engravings, and I find them extremely exciting, and I think that they come as a revelation. He had a major operation in 1968, and I think when he was convalescing, he decided to just work as hard as he could. And so hence this amazing group of paintings.
Picasso's last works were exhibited in 1973 in a highly unusual setting, a medieval castle in southern France. Paintings were stacked up row upon row, their violent color schemes contrasting with the cold Gothic interior. The public was baffled. Critics were merciless. Writing in Time magazine in 1973, Australian art critic Robert Hughes called the paintings, quote, Picasso's worst, and even said the works resembled cheap forgeries. Unlike Titian or Michelangelo, Picasso failed in old age. Picasso's late show is a depressing commentary on the idea that it's better to paint anything than nothing. 2 years of silence would have rounded off that singular life better than these calamitous daubs.
Picasso showed a lot of these just before he died in the Palais des Papes at Avignon, this great medieval palace where when the popes left Rome, and there are these great echoing Gothic spaces. And Picasso didn't want a fancy installation. He just hung them 3, 4, and people were just horrified by this amazing kind of, so much of this stuff, it was so violent and so difficult to take. The critics leapt on them and had terrible things to say.
Now, almost 40 years later, Richardson is determined to get Picasso's last works the recognition he says they deserve. Mosqueteros is the name of the new show he has curated from Picasso's final period.
This is really what I want this show to be, is sort of avenging Picasso on the mean things that were said just shortly after his death. Bernard Picasso, Picasso's one legitimate grandson, he's lent 20 paintings to try and put Picasso back on the map as a great late painter. And that's why we had the show here in a contemporary gallery in a contemporary part of New York to make Picasso look as if he's a brand new young painter. These paintings represent a reaction against abstraction. And these are all recognizable. These are all about real people. These are not about ideas or themes or just beautiful forms. And they're very nitty-gritty paintings. He faces up to death. He had this sort of terror of Spanish terror of death. But somehow towards the end he faces up to death. And there are quite a few of these paintings where you feel he's sort of outstaring death.
A preoccupation with death, as well as